Hello my friends, and welcome back to another exciting and very hot episode of Hunting Rocks. Today I am down at Hawks Bluff. You can see I am down near that creek. There's a railroad trestle that goes over it, and the creek goes up that way. It gets some deep areas, so mostly today I'm going to be looking for agates, keep myself cool in the creek. And there are some deep spots, which means I will be doing some underwater filming, because this year I just got myself to use in Florida. Let me show you. Finally got myself a Nomad from Blue. So I will be diving underwater, and I will be using a new device called the Geo Scoop. Let me see if I can get that. There we go. Let you guys know how this is. Apparently it's a new device out there. Super cool. I have not paid for this. They're letting me borrow it. Here, let me set it on the ground so you can see it stretches out pretty far. So we're going to use it right now. We're going to walk some of these shallow areas. Let me get that back in camera. We're going to use it, walk some of these shallow areas, and let's just see what we find right now. Oh, that water feels amazing. We're going to take ourselves in. Now what's nice is this creek is actually the creek that does in fact run by Haunted Ridge. The bucket I'm using today has holes in the bottom of it, so that way it doesn't float away too fast on me. And I already see what looks like it might be a good agate. Let's find out. Let's try this scoop. Easy peasy. Got me what I... Nope, I dumped it myself. That was not the scoop's fault, guys. That was my fault. Let's see what we got here. Nice little piece of agate. However, I'm not going to take this one. It has way too many holes in it for my liking for being polished up. I got some friends that do way more polishing than I do. But tell you what, let's keep cruising down this creek. See what we can find. Oh, that water feels nice. Well, that's not an agate, but that is an old beer can, I believe. Let's pop that up. Kind of like this. I don't got to bend over. Well, maybe I do. Let's see what we got here. Yep, that's an old Falstaff can. Oh man, I wish that was in better condition. Some pretty good sized fish in this creek. It definitely means there's going to be some deeper holes. All right, you guys, just pop this piece up. It's pretty nice looking. I'm going to leave it right there for right now. I will come back to it. I didn't bring my bucket. I left it back yonder, of course. But as you can see all through here, we're starting to get beautiful pieces of agate. Look at this thing. That would polish up nicely. Yeah, I'm going to take that one too. Let me put that back over here by my other piece. Bugs all over me. Let's set it right there. All right, I'm gonna keep on moving down, try to find myself a fairly decent deep spot. All right, my friends, I've returned to my spot. No, I have not dove in the water yet. I'm just that sweaty because it's that hot and humid out here. So I'm gonna suit up. I'm gonna hit over there, and don't worry, you guys will see it. I brought my underwater camera. We're gonna scan through all there, see what goodies we can find. All right, you guys, battery's hooked up. Got my faux pro ready. It's not a real GoPro, it's a faux pro, but it'll work. And that is a beautiful piece of agate sitting right there. Big piece, but cut up. That'll look great. So that'll be my stored agate pile. Other things I'll be taking in, of course, are my little container for small stuff. Yes, it's a Zen pouch. Got my goggles so I can see. Of course, my geo grabber, a little pick, a little mattock, and I'll be good to go. Let's get in that water and cool off. It's hot.
All right, we are under the bridge. The water was actually a little deeper here. It was probably about 5.5 foot, 6 foot in parts. And I found some big pieces of agate like this. I did take that piece. I just set it up on the hill, which I swim back to at the end. I cut that part out because it's a little boring, but down here you'll see me start going through and just huge pieces of agate. That was a shed crawdad there. He wasn't dead. He shed his shell and grew bigger. They molt, much like trilobites. So you can see these pieces they're pretty tumbled. I probably should have taken that one, but I didn't. My little blue fish buddies are still swimming around me. You'll see a bunch of those here in a second. That's a beautiful piece of agate. Every time I moved rocks or swept gravel away, those little fish would swim in and start eating whatever I knocked up for them. That was a good piece of agate. Definitely kept that one. Big monster piece. It's not coming out. And that bottom is actually bedrock there, so I was down at the very bottom. I'm sure if I worked on that bedrock I might find something, but maybe next time. Get down there with a hammer and chisel or something. Crawdad swimming away. Crayfish, depending on what part of the world you're from. Mud puppies. Lots of names for them. There's my little blue buddies. Now I decided to turn back here because it started getting real silty, and I was also losing sunlight. There was a big tree up there, so wasn't sure how good my faux pro would record. It's not the best. Like I said, I promise I'll do better next time, guys. Another beautiful piece of agate, or it will be once it's polished up. And it was about this time I was like, well, time to head out. So I headed back for my big piece and I decided to get out.
Holy cow, guys. Was that not cool? Did you see all those little fish? Oh, I hope they show off on camera. They were just swarming me, and they're a beautiful blue. So anyhow, I checked this area, and I'm pretty happy with it. I got quite a few. I'm going to go down to the other side of the train bridge, and I'm going to check down there and see what's washed down there. Now, is this necessary? Do you need a dive unit? No, you don't. You can do this with one of those geo grabbers I have, and just walking through the creek. But if you got the tool, you may as well use it for something other than pool repair. Yeah, don't ask. Anywho, let's get down to the other side of the bridge. All right, guys, I made it back to the railroad bridge. Excuse me. I'm gonna walk down that way and look a little bit. I might look under the bridge. It's a little deep there, but it's mostly just a mud bottom. So might find something, might not. But let's go down here and check. I'll come back and get the stuff. That might not actually be mud. That might be some bedrock. Yeah, I'm seeing stuff in the water down here that, oh, where'd it go? I'm seeing stuff down here in the water that I might go after. That's not great, but it's kind of pretty looking. Let's see, we get real shallow here. It looks like we get a little deeper over here, so let's go look at it. All right, my friends. Well, that spot was incredibly silty, and I had to come up. My battery was dying. But don't worry, I'm going to let it dry a second. I'm going to replace the battery. I've got two, well, not my bag, in this case, my bucket. But anywho, going to get this bad boy. We're going to walk over there. I don't want to dive near the sticks. Just, I'm kind of by myself here. I do have people around, but I don't want to get caught up in there and have to wait for him to get down there. I got about an hour breathing time because I breathe kind of slow, so that would still be pretty spooky. So let's go over there under the train bridge, see what we can find. Maybe we'll see a train go by. That'd be awesome.
All right, we are under the bridge. The water was actually a little deeper here. It was probably about 5.5 foot, 6 foot in parts. And I found some big pieces of agate like this. I did take that piece. I just set it up on the hill, which I swim back to at the end. I cut that part out because a little boring. But down here, you'll see me start going through and just huge pieces of agate. That was a shed crawdad there. He wasn't dead. He shed his shell and grew bigger. They molt, much like trilobites. As you can see, these pieces they're pretty tumbled. I probably should have taken that one, but I didn't. My little blue fish buddies are still swimming around me. You'll see a bunch of those here in a second. That's a beautiful piece of agate. Every time I moved rocks or swept gravel away, those little fish would swim in and start eating whatever I knocked up for them. That was a good piece of agate. Definitely kept that one. Big monster piece. It's not coming out. That bottom is actually bedrock there, so I was down at the very bottom. I'm sure if I worked on that bedrock, I might find something, but maybe next time. Get down there with a hammer and chisel or something. Another crawdad swimming away. Crayfish, depending on what part of the world you're from. Mud puppies. Lots of names for them. There's my little blue buddies. Now I decided to turn back here because it started getting real silty, and I was also losing sunlight. There was a big tree up there, so I wasn't sure how good my FoPro would record. It's not the best. Like I said, I promise I'll do better next time, guys. Another beautiful piece of agate, or it will be once it's polished up. And it was about this time I was like, well, time to head out. So I headed back for my big piece and I decided to get out.
So now I'm just waiting for them to come back down here and grab me. They're going to bring the truck. That way I don't have to carry my bucket of agates about maybe a quarter mile. That would be a little heavy, along with all my dive gear. I am going to be putting my Nomad into its case, getting that all cleaned up and set up, and I'll see you guys back up at the truck. All right, guys, that was my dig at Hawks Bluff. I'm coming up here to their little trade house to pay the folks, and then I'm going to head on back up to St. Louis, get these all cleaned up, and I'll show you what I got. Hello, my friends. It's the same day I butchered up that obsidian, and I am back home. Of course, I've been home a couple days with all my cool finds from Hawks Bluff underwater. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to get these cleaned up real quick, and I'm going to show you what I found. Now, these are going to have to set in bleach water a little bit, so I'm just going to spray them down with the hose. I might make a cut on one of the bigger agates so you can see the inside of it, but I got to get all that moss and stuff off of it. I just haven't had time. We had some storms yesterday, and it was nice. It dropped the temperature down to about 84 degrees, and it felt like it was cool. But anywho, I'm sitting in my chair. I've been cutting all day. Let me pop these out and let me show you what I got. All right, my friends, here is all my agates poured out. Now, they don't look like much right now, and some of them got some green stuff on them. And like I said, I got to put these into some bleach water, get all that green off. But we'll go ahead and hit them with just a little regular water. And you can see the agatization coming off of them. Look at that one. That one's beautiful. That's going to be nice. I got my buddy HuntingRocks over here today cutting with me. He's cutting stuff, I'm cutting stuff and polishing it. But I'm very happy with how these are going to look. All that green on there, that's just algae. Bleach water will take that right off. I won't have to do anything crazy like acid bath them. That's a beautiful little agate. But let me show you the one that I'm going to cut. I actually already cut it, so we're watching this in reverse. Hold on. Let's look at those agates there. Heck yeah. Is it necessary to dive for these? Nope. Is it fun to dive for them? You better believe it. All right, my friends. I believe this is the one I will throw onto the saw. You can make out a couple of the agate bandings. You can see the old druze up on top that's been well tumbled away. But we're going to cut this one in half. It's got a druze pocket on the bottom. And see what that agate looks like inside. There we go, guys. That's that first cut. Look at that agatization in there. I'm gonna, you know what, I'm gonna cut a couple wafers off of this because I want some wafers and I think they'll look really good. That's the outside. That piece is huge. Probably too big to be tumbled up, but they'll take a nice polish. Let's cut some wafers. All right, my friends, here's one of those slabs I cut. Cut that a little thinner. Let me get that up to sunlight. Yeah, that's pretty. All right, my friends, that was my agate hunt underwater at Hawks Bluff. I hope you enjoyed it. Hamilton hopes you enjoyed it. I think that will be my first of many underwater adventures. Let me know if you enjoyed it. But anywho, guys, we hope you liked the video. We hope we can get a like, share, and subscribe. And Hamilton, will we see him the next time we're out hunting rocks? He's like, yeah, we'll see you guys next time we're out hunting rocks. Have a good one, everybody. Okay, I love you too. Bye. Say bye, Hamilton. Say bye to the people. He says bye, guys. Have a good one. Maybe. Yep, he's leaving.